In this video, we're going to cover the Schemas tab on the left-hand menu of Xagio. In this area, you can build all the schemas for any of your websites. To build a schema, simply start by searching for the schema type that you would like to build inside of the search box. We have a lot of schemas, so it's much easier to simply search for the type you want. Once you click it, on the right-hand side, it will load that specific schema and an alphabetical list of all the properties that are available to build for that schema. However, to make things easier, you can simply hide the alphabetical list and simply search for the property that you would like, for instance, name. Once you've found the property you want, click the blue button to add that to the active schemas that you'd like to build. I'll add a few more properties here and then we'll build some schema. Once you have the properties chosen, you'll notice there's two types of input fields. One is a text box where you can simply enter the data that it's asking for. The next type is an embedded schema, meaning that there is a postal address schema that can be built as a child of the parent. For schemas that require a nested child, you would simply click on Add a New Schema field for postal address in this example, and that will open a new window where you'll perform the same actions, fill it out, save it, and then that will become a child schema for you. If you don't want to embed the schema, you can simply select the drop-down menu and change it to text to enter the full address. Once all your fields are input, you simply would give your schema a name and choose a folder to save that schema to. By default, all the websites that you have the Xagio plugin installed on will show in this list. For this example, we'll save it to our main website. Once you've saved the schema, you'll notice that in the bottom left menu, you now have a gmb.pw entry where it loads the type of schema that you built and all the schemas of it. You can simply click on that schema to load the schema that you built. Notice that items in blue are active schemas that you can click on. Items in gray are simply the type of schemas that you've built. If you want to build schema in a practice group rather than a website folder, you can click on Manage Groups and add a new schema group, something like MISC, and click on OK. That will add a miscellaneous folder that you can now save this schema to. Some quick shortcuts are that if you right click on a blue entry in your schema, you can actually duplicate or remove that schema. And you'll notice that when you open it up, you have a duplicate. You can click on that schema now and then even choose to save it to a different folder. If you'd like to take a quick view of the actual code that you built, simply click on the View JSON Schema Code button and it will load the actual script of your schema. You can copy this to your clipboard so that you can paste it anywhere else on a non-WordPress type website, or you can close the window. You can also perform a validation of your schema that will tell you whether there's any errors or warnings in your schema, or tell you if you have a valid schema built. Shortcodes are a list of variable elements that you can add to your schema. For instance, URL. If you're using a URL type schema, you can use the current URL shortcode in place of the actual URL, and it will dynamically insert the URL of the page where the schema is displayed on. Another useful shortcut for building schemas is to utilize our schema duplicator. Simply click on the duplicator button and enter any URL that you know has schema that you'd like to use. Give your schema a name and choose a folder to save it to. When you run the duplicator, it will tell you if it found schema or not and show you which types it did find. Simply select the schema types that you'd like to duplicate and click on Proceed. Once you click OK, in your miscellaneous folder, you'll notice you now have a website Facebook schema that you can click on to view the properties that were inserted. In the next video, we're going to show you how to inject the schemas that you've built in the schema editor to the specific posts and pages of your websites.